And welcome back to the Lecarde Chronicles. It is finally time to begin our journey in roughly the late 18th century. Which we begin by killing spiders.
That's my favorite 18th century pastime.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the beginning of the Simon's Quest portion of this game. And it took all the ideas from Simon's Quest. Notably grinding for money and hearts from enemies.
All the joy.
Yep, though they did do the smart thing where there are actual money drops just laying around, so you, don't have to do that much grinding. Though I kind of wish, he'd just drop the fucking money aspect and just put treasure around.
Simon's Quest is my favorite 18th century game.
I don't know, there was that one with the dancing skeletons and,
We'll get to those later, don't worry.
Oh, very good.
So yeah, the first thing we're supposed to do if you actually bother talking to people in town is that you're supposed to go to the right to this abandoned bed and breakfast. But you can figure this out just by walking right, so there's not much point.
Fair enough.
There's no breakfast here.
And no, that was the only destructible door in the game. That will never come up again.
Talking to people is never a good idea.
And yes, it was some kind of fruit.
So, this is the first area where we introduce to enemies that have projectiles, and of course this game kind of makes a dog's ear of it by having you get shot off screen by them.
Yeah, just a bit.
At least you can deflect them, I guess.
But, I mean, they're not very strong, so it's not the worst thing, And here it's just well, these things are completely unthreatening.
And then really tiny platform.
Yep, and a bat. And the bat is much more dangerous.
Oh, shit, there is a platform. I can't see it.
Because of how the platform and the bat sync up, you can't really hit the bat at all on the platform.
And of course, if the bat hits
Yay.
you...
Off you go.
Yep. That is not good design.
Those are some really good looking 18th century spikes.
That's the one thing that the forces of Satan will spring for, is good spikes. You can let everything else fall apart, but the spikes will always look good.
They're vintage.
And the chains. Don't forget the chains.
And that can be substituted with rope. They're not that picky.
Well, I suppose.
But I'm very picky.
So here's our first puzzle. We set things on fire with the sacred fire, and then we can light stuff. It never comes up again except for one area. This game was really good at coming up with, puzzles that it never uses, ever.
Interesting.
And it... You mean, past its introduction?
Yeah, it just comes up and then never again.
That just makes the ones we have more special.
Yeah, everyone will remember lighting things on fire to get some money.
Oh boy,
I do...
yellow
No!
set.
Oh dear.
Nice.
I'm not leaving a really good review on Yelp on this bed and breakfast.
You grip off of chains, except the chains don't always grip properly, so you'll just, fall to your death.
Shit.
I was gonna say I like the hanging off chains look, but if they're not gripping right...
It's this 1 in 1,000 chance, and it's really weird. I don't actually know what triggers it. But here's our first status effect, Disable. Now we can't use our sub-weapons. We can either spend time to heal it with an item, or we can just wait a while and it'll go away on its own. Given how weak and vaguely useless the sub-weapons are in this game, it's not really that big of an issue. In fact, it's actually advantageous to have it because you can only have one status effect at a time.
Oh, so...
If you have a choice between getting hit with one or the other, this one's the best to get hit with.
Oh, mercy.
Yeah.
So how many status effects are there total in this game?
There's 4. And they kind of follow a ranking of how dangerous they are.
So assuming Disable is the lowest.
Yeah. We'll see all of them pretty soon, but it's... It's really weird because it's like they're kind of easing you into status effects because you actually have a quarter resistance to all of them when you start the game. There's a 1 in 4 chance if somebody has a status effect and hits you, you won't get it.
Is that like inherent or only in the armor you start with?
No, it's inherent. Unless you equip something to, like, drop it. And I think there's only one piece of equipment in the game that does that.
Now that's what I call a good game.
Yep, we also have a day-night cycle in this game for... I'm sure there's a reason.
So that way we can redraw the background. Just with different lighting.
Everyone knows there was no night in the 18th century. What is this?
So we can also buy new sub-weapons if we feel like it, so we can have this wherever. They're not permanent, you just kind of buy it, so, I mean, if you're having trouble with the boss, you can walk all the way back here, get this, and then not hit any candles on the way back.
Well, you could probably hit candles, but anything that drops out of a candle, probably you'd have to jump over it, right?
Yeah, probably.
Hey, there's gold down there!
But unfortunately, we don't know how to crawl, because we're a Knight of the Church and we're too good for that.
I bend my knee to no one but God.
So yeah, basically how every single region in this game is built up is that you start it, you have to get to the town, and then you usually have just enough money to buy, like, the first weapon upgrade. And then you have to go through it until you can afford the armor. And then, usually you find the second stage of everything instead of buying it. In some areas, though, that doesn't quite work out because the prices outstrip your ability to get money.
Joy.
This just means you gotta kill more crows. Pocket change is pocket change.
I always was a fan of poultry.
Is that a well or a cave?
That's it's a lake. It's a dark lake full of monsters.
We used to drown witches here.
But it's also full of gold, so, you know, you can just start drowning for a while and grab it. The drowning's based on percentage in this game, so no matter how much health you have, you'll still take roughly the same amount of damage.
That's kind of good.
Oh, so what you're saying is Lecarde can't hold his breath for shit. Wait, I'm pretty sure you mentioned that in the first episode.
What's that breathing system that birds have where they literally, like, can't stop breathing?
I know what you're talking about. It's the way that their lungs work, because their bones are basically like a series of tubes.
It would technically be auto-respiration.
Yeah.
But basically it's because the lungs are directly powered by muscle movement of the wings.
It was something like a direct flow-through or something.
Yeah, well...
Something like that.
Birds are weird.
So, the long and short of it is that Lecarde is part bird. Now the question is, was his mom or dad the bird?
Well, he works for the church, so, you know, it could go both ways. Maybe we'll find something in the game that'll tell us.
Your religion is usually passed down by your mother. Can a crow be Catholic?
Well, we're also forgetting the other thing. That this is a magical universe, so God could literally have had a hand and made him part bird.
Yeah, just rip the wings off somebody and stick them in there. It's fine. Oh, and here's a bunch of dead people. They're living surprisingly long for living in before modern sanitation.
Yeah.
Like this guy. He's living till 1899.
Wowzers. Do you mind? I'm looking at graves. Dang.
He fought in the Civil War.
We have a man who knows his own death date, and it's really far away. In fact, it's over a century away. That's not suspicious at all.
He pre-ordered his grave. Put it on layaway. I'm gonna die eventually, so, just put any old date on it.
And making a return from the last game is the poison wasps. However, they're much smaller now and aren't a boss anymore. They're just here.
So what you're saying is they're getting more annoying.
Is that nest made out of bones? Or was it?
I think it's supposed to be just like weird demon wasp nest material. Like a paper wasp, but like monsterized.
Yeah, they just happen to build in skull shapes because they're evil.
I see.
Though there could also be bones mixed into it.
Yeah.
They have, it's not bone, it's just marrow. Lots of marrow and cartilage. Oh, mostly cartilage, You know how it is, it's made out of dead bird.
Yeah, so it looks like you might have to cut the rope there. No, you just hit the rock. And now you can leave.
Because why would you have a cuttable rope be a separate object?
Why would you? Also note, a lot of jumps in this game before you get the upgrades, they're based on you, like, doing the Mega Man thing. Oh, hey look, it's a unique enemy.
That was very suggestive. From where I'm seeing it, at least.
Well, don't worry, Combat Lobster, because he'll never come back. Now that he's gone, he's gone.
You monster, he was the last of his kind!
He's a skeleton. He gave up his right to life a while ago.
And then you ended his own life. That is immutable. No one can take that away from him.
Not anymore, they can't. So here's our first optional area. If we felt like it, we could come back later with all of our movement upgrades and do this really easily. Or we could do it now.
What is up with that fish?
It's the killer fish from, I think it was Aria of Sorrow, but he's redrawn it a little bit.
Those fish ain't right. Something in that water.
I bet it's all the fluoride.
Yeah, they got really nice pearly whites. Oh no! You're gonna drown, you dingus.
So yeah, just here, if I keep mashing jump, I'll stop drowning.
Oh.
But yeah, I lost over half my health just from getting dunked. So don't get in the water. It's bad for you.
Or you'll get dunked, and you'll get dunked.
And that's another guaranteed spawn for the Thunder Orb. So now our attacks do slightly more damage.
Have a cool effect, too.
Oh.
Now, we could save, but we don't need that for one of the first bosses in the game.
Above the tree?
An evil tree.
Oh yeah, round the hanging tree, swaying in the breeze.
So this is the
hooks.
second status effect that we can encounter in the game, Stunned. We now can't use our super item crashes. And now we're weakened! We now take triple damage from everything. This is the worst status effect in the game and you don't want it.
Holy shit.
Oh man.
That is really brutal.
It also makes you turn yellow. So, you know, now you're kind of moldy.
So your kidneys are failing?
Well, of course, that would make you feel pretty weak, so...
He pissed his pants and then the rest of it.
I don't want to know the mechanics of that.
He pissed straight up and just got a golden shower.
Ugh. But this is the first boss, and it kind of sets the standard for the rest of the game, whereas a lot of them are super pattern-based. This guy has no random elements, it will always go exactly the same way. He'll spawn zombies from the ground, then he'll spawn ones on the hooks, and then he'll try and catch you with his claws.
Okay. I mean, all in all, this is a pretty boring tree.
Yeah. So how many loops on average?
And it depends on how well you can dodge this.
500.
his attacks. Like, I mean, if you ground up for the mace, you could probably take him out in, like, 3 cycles. But this just takes forever. Especially since he's only vulnerable in, like, 1 time.
Yeah, I'm getting the feeling the number of loops is too many from the get-go.
Yeah, like, a lot of it is because, like, since you can have variable equipment, their health bars have to be, like, usually bigger, otherwise you'll just kill them all really fast. I mean, I like the idea of having to, like, fight a tree that has had, like, people die on it and has therefore become evil.
Yeah.
Just possessed with their anger, but this is not the way to do it.
I would imagine a tree boss would actually be a more proactive boss, you know, have the tree do things other than have its claws claw at you and do some of the zombies.
Like Crush Rock in PS3.
Exactly.
Or what was that one in Salt and Sanctuary? The artificial tree with, you know, all the guys hanging off it, and then it hits you with the guys.
And now we can slide. We
Kirby.
have plundered someone's gravesite and denied them their chance at heaven because we took the symbol of their faith.
Finally, this game gets good.
You have unlocked Crisis of Faith.
You will now be a pro baseball player.
God is a secondary priority now.